I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, it's 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for throats, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Gotta keep quiet, maneuver in silence, then let them in, chalk up their body, another one body, that's just how it go. I got some secrets, I'm shaking the game so they stay on their toes. Stay in your lane, how to stay on the go. I can play with the pros and act like a rookie, so they overlook me, then I double up again, none of their knows. None of them cold, they just got lucky but never adapted, so I'm to the one if it's coming to blows. My enemies cutting it close, I let them think that they got me, but what do you know? I had them.
Hello. How are you all doing? Welcome to Startup on the Blocks. I'm glad to have you both here. And we're going to get started here. Shyla and Ed, uh, our guests from Cox. And so like I said, we're excited to have y'all here. But first, let's take care of a little housekeeping and thank our sponsors and also talk a little bit about Startup on the Blocks before we get going. So we are excited to have the support from like Florida Power and Light. They sponsor our Lean Stack entrepreneur training, so that's pretty fantastic. The First Bank and Industry Hotel, they've been sponsoring our pitch competitions. And Bantucola, they've been our media partner. They've been actually streaming our stuff to the different social media channels and YouTube, etc. And both Pensacola Chamber and Gulf Coast Minority Chamber, they support our pitch competitions and collaborate with our startups, and as well as the Small Business Development Center. And then finally, CoLab came on to help out with our last pitch competition. Pat Rooney, he's giving some consulting hours to our founders. So we have some nice offerings for our founders there. And next, we have Shyla and Ed tonight. Would you like to say a quick hello and kind of introduce yourself?
Sure.
Absolutely. I'll let Shyla go first here.
Go ahead, Shyla.
Okay. Hi, I'm Shyla. If you don't mind, I'll go ahead and introduce myself and tell you a little about my background and who I am, where I came from. Okay. So I am not originally from Pensacola or even from the South. I'm originally from Michigan.
Wow.
But I am an Army brat. And my mom is the one who was in the Army. She was in the Army for 22 years. She's retired now, but what she calls retired is she still works full-time at the Fort Walton Beach Medical Center. Okay. So she refuses to retire. But yeah, she's enjoying her job still. So anyway, I lived in Germany for a couple of years, and I graduated from high school in Germany. But I also went to a vocational school for a couple of years in Virginia Beach. And when I was there, I took some IT and video courses. And that sort of paved the way for my future. And so when I was supposed to enroll in college, I had a full scholarship. I also got an offer for my first job at the exact same time, and that was with the United States government. And they offered me a GS7 job straight out of high school. Wow, so I couldn't turn it down. Yeah. So I decided to just start working, go straight into the workforce. So that's how I started, because that was back in the 90s. And back then, not a lot of people knew about computers and video both at the same time. And I just so happened to take the right VOTech class. Okay. So that's how I started. And from there, it's kind of history. I went to WorldCom. I went to Enron Broadband. They had a broadband little area before they kind of went belly up. And then from there, I actually took a jump from Enron to a nonprofit here in Pensacola called Covenant Hospice. Very popular nonprofit here. Wonderful, wonderful company. Love that company. My husband still works there. He's been there over 20 years. And then from there, I went and started working at Cox, which I love working at Cox. It is also a nonprofit. I just love working for nonprofits. After working at WorldCom and Enron, which were wonderful companies to work for, but they both kind of had some bad vibes. It was nice to work for a nonprofit. So I have a warm spot in my heart for nonprofits, and I love volunteering. I've worked for numerous volunteer organizations around Pensacola since I've lived here for 21 years, and I just have enjoyed it so much. And when we met you, I heard about all the different things you're involved in, and that's when I offered to see how we can inject ourselves into what you're doing somehow to see if there's something we can do, because I just love every single thing that you're doing. And if there's anything that I can do to help with my technical services and my abilities to see how technical things can help with business things, I would love to just use my voice and my powers of technical abilities to help somebody in some way, because that's what you do, and I love it. So
thank you. But I wanted to, so how did you learn so much about Belmont de Villiers?
Oh, well, just asking questions. I stumbled upon it. I worked right downtown here, and I just used to walk. I like walking for exercise, and I stumbled upon it, and I said, "What is this beautiful place?" I just loved. I saw it from when they started renovating it, and
Okay.
so I just started asking questions. I found Five Sisters, loved Five Sisters to eat there, and just started asking questions of the staff. And then I went to the art center down there and took a couple of classes with my son, and I asked them, and I just started asking questions. And that's how I learned about it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the history. I love the renovations. I love the restorations, and just really the way they're honoring the history and the culture. I just love it.
All righty. Thank you. All righty. All right, Ed, your turn.
Whew, tough act to follow there.
I'm glad I don't have to follow that.
No, but seriously, my name's Ed Henning, also with Cox Business. Going back all the way to high school, everybody in high school told me I should get into communications. So after college, I got into sales. Of course, it's been completely different. Got into the car business, worked in the Chicago area for about 20 years.
Okay.
And then I actually got an opportunity to work for Comcast. And it was good timing because, raising a family, being a dealership, 60, 80 hours a week isn't really conducive for that. So, I got into that and just really kind of, fell in love with the business, and then just the idea of small businesses themselves. I have a lot of friends that, we've gotten into small businesses, friends that have opened hot dog stands, construction companies, and things of that nature. And it just really kind of resonated with me, and it made sense. And so I worked for Comcast for a number of years, and then almost 2 years ago, decided to move my family to Pensacola. Family in this area. My uncle actually moved down here about 30 years ago, and we've been coming down here for holidays and vacations and everything else, and just really like the area, and particularly downtown, and just I think it's awesome what's going on down there, and just kind of looking back in a larger scope of what changes have happened in the last, say, 10 years in this city. It's just amazing, and I think the city's got a very long runway. I think there's a lot of great things coming, and just I think it's kind of a unique situation where you have a lot of things happening with military and local leaders and education, and particularly someone like you who's kind of got these backgrounds and bringing it to the community. I think is really special. So for where I come from, working for Cox in this area, I'm super excited to help businesses grow. That's really what I'm here.
Yeah, technology is key. Moving forward. Yes. So next week we got Janae. She was our judge in our pitch competition one of the judges in our pitch competition last week. So we're looking forward. She's over in Texas, and she runs a nonprofit over there. So we're going to be working together in the future, and occasionally she's going to come on and help host as well. And I think the following week we have a young lady that's running a nonprofit. I think I'll wait and but she's it's called Black Sis, so it's pretty interesting. So she's pretty fired up. So I'm looking forward to getting her on here. And Kimberly, this is maybe a little known fact. So she runs the Minority Business Development Center down in Orlando for the MBDA agency, and so. But she's actually responsible for our area and helping minority businesses up here in Northwest Florida. And so we'll bring her on so she could tell a little bit more about the services, that they have for us. And they've been working with our nonprofit as well in trying to help us move forward.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
so
Very
just a variety of speakers, and occasionally we get founders on as well. Yeah,
Mhm.
so if you ever wonder what a startup founder journey is like, this is kind of a graph that kind of shows you the journey, and you can see it's not a short journey.
All uphill.
Yeah, and so there, it's just that just kind of understanding the different phases you go through when you're building something new. And most of this journey is like you still got some job somewhere, and then you're working on your startup part time. But when you get out here in this pink area, and and you're making money, that's when it's getting to the time where you're you can kind of leave your job and work your
Right.
startup full time. We work real hard down in here in this beginning where you kind of get the foundations and you learn how to do design a business model, and that is so important, and so but with the founders, it's just getting them to understand you have to have a really good business model if you want to bring in the stakeholders to help you go the rest of the way out
Mhm.
here. So that's what this slide is trying to show. Now, this is I had stopped showing this slide, but I figured it was time to bring it back because this is like a really good uh, pictorial of what this entrepreneurial ecosystem kind of is and what drives it. And so in the middle here, it's all about the individual, the founder, but that individual has to learn, develop the skills and best practices for building a startup. But the ecosystem makes it easy for them to do that. So it actually has a lot of resources, a lot of opportunities. But if you don't learn these skills and best practices, it's hard to take advantage of the ecosystem.
Mhm.
So like when you design your business model and start pitching it, that means you understand how you make money, you know, and the whole shebang, your customers, et cetera. And and so the people and the mentors in the ecosystem, the pitch competitions in the ecosystem, and like for example, Cox does the up in Atlanta. They sponsor a TechStars program, and that's an accelerator program. And so and that's when you get like if I go back up here, you're probably to get in that program, you're probably in this blue area here somewhere. You actually launch your product and your minimum viable product, and you're trying to get that customer fit there.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so that's kind of how there's programs for each stage of the ecosystem. And
Right.
so and that each all these programs, they help you get to the next stage.
Mhm.
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. But that you have to start with the mindset, and if you don't get that mindset right, you're dead in the water. And then these skills and best practices, and you like when you're pitching, and then the judge start asking you questions, and if you don't know how to answer the questions, that means you kind of need some more training. But and so and what else is kind of different about this, Shala and Ed, and the reason why I think it's pretty neat opportunity is that in traditional small business, in order to capitalize your business, you have to bring money to the table that you already have, or go out and get a loan to capitalize your business. But in the startup world, you kind of you get bring in stakeholders based on how well you pitch your business idea, and so if you, uh, and so it's like you develop a reputation for like making progress and understanding your customers and understanding your product and how your competitors, and so all of that knowledge, it's it's your credibility to win a pitch competition or to get in a program that gives you money and gives you more training. So it's like a totally different approach to growing businesses in your area.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what's different about it. Okay, so we developed this playbook, and it mirrors the graph you just the chart you
Hmm.
just saw. You have to get the right mindset, and then you have to get the skills and the lean startup methodology, and then there's this thing called the startup school, and it's free training as well. And then all your progress you posted on this founder site, f6.s. And there's several sites like this, but this site has over 2 million founders. And then so as you build up your personal profile and your startup profile, and then what happens is, all the big major companies that work with startups, they see what you're doing, and then they offer you free services or discounted services.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then but this site also has applications for accelerator programs all over the world. Um, yeah, and so yeah, it's just pretty kind of neat. And the key thing for, and we're still a little weak on this number five, like getting all the founders to actually kind of participate in the community and network with each other and help each other out. And that's what we're working on now. So we have these weekly events, and the idea to give people a chance to network
Hmm.
and actually learn as well. And
Nice.
yeah, there's so many resources in the ecosystem. And I was talking to one of the founders today that was one pitch competition winner, and there's just so many resources out there. It's just that you can leverage to kind of grow your startup, but you have to go back. You can't move forward if you don't got these skills. You can't take advantage of the ecosystem if you don't have all these skills in between you and all that help you can get is these skills and best practices. And so that's what we call startup on the box. This idea of learning the best practices. And this is just everything I just said before. We try to do things here in the middle to help you take advantage of these things out here in the ecosystem. And it's pretty. We also have mentors that help out, and the founders, and so once you get in with us, you can get assigned a mentor, and so you can help, so you can move forward. And that's basically it for Startup on the Blocks. We're just all about trying to help founders move forward.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah. Did
I
you
think
all
it's
see anything new in there that you weren't aware of?
I just, for me, I just think it's amazing that you're bringing all this information together. I think there's a lot of people that are out there that want to start a business or they have a concept and they just don't know where to go. And, you've done all this legwork to bring everything together and kind of put this roadmap together. And the education piece, I think it's just fabulous.
Yes, that's definitely key.
Not only that, but education is something that you can go to school for, but practical application is something that seems to be what you're offering here.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
something
best
different,
practice.
a different take on it. Yeah, a best practice. It's something that has worked. It's a little different than just going to school and learning it by the book. This is
Yeah,
something, hey, we know this works. These are things that are tried and true locally because it's different than, like you said, in Atlanta. Things are different in Atlanta than here in
well,
Pensacola
yeah,
or
so,
in Orlando or wherever.
yeah,
So here,
yeah,
this is what's worked for us. These are mentors that are local. Let's try this, you know.
yeah, yeah. And so what I discovered, like in the early days of my startup career is, like you may win a pitch competition here or to get in a program here, but you go down to a Miami or some of these other big cities, it's not as easy to get into a program.
Yeah.
And I think you're good at pitching up here, but you get down there and you're pitching with people that raise millions of dollars,
Feel a little small town all of a sudden.
Different world.
Yeah, you learn pretty quick. But the good news is if something's not available here, you're definitely free to apply for it in another city, state, country, or whatever. So it's like real exciting. yeah, so I won't belong to time anymore. But I guess so. We could get started with your presentation. And
Yeah.
audience, feel free to go ahead and ask questions and put them in the chat. So you're going to learn a lot about the services that are available. And so we'll just I'll bring your slides up here.
Awesome. And so Shyla and I are both going to talk through these, but I've got the controls here, and unfortunately it's blocking the chat window. So Shyla, if you could keep an eye on your end, questions on there, and just let me know as we go through here. So yeah, so kick this off. Again, Shyla and Ed, Cox Business. We are the local representatives. We're actually out of the office here in Pensacola. So we spend a lot of time in the community helping businesses, and that is what we do. So I'm going to put up our contact information here, but I believe Lloyd's going to put my information in the chat too. So if anyone needs to has a question, or if there's something we can do to help, definitely reach out to me directly. All right, so let's start here. Who is Cox Business, right? A lot of people have heard the name. Really what we do is we're helping businesses thrive in their communities, right? Giving businesses the tools necessary to compete in the marketplace. And also, we're providing an industry best customer service. So when we talk about Cox Business, what our goal really is to treat our customers the way that we would want to be treated, and give them a local person and contact and someone that can help them.
Yeah, before we go on, I'll just point out, when we say we're in the Pensacola office, Pensacola to us means everywhere Cox does service locally, all the way from Freeport, all the way to Sandestin, all the way to Navarre, Pensacola, Cantonment, anywhere you see Cox service or think there might be Cox service, we can help that. And also, if you have multiple offices, even if they're not in the Cox footprint, we can help provide additional services outside our footprint too. If you have multiple offices, you just call Ed; he'll tell you if he can help you.
No, well said. We are, we're coast to coast in the country. There are definitely some areas that we focus in, but that being said, there's areas that we service with certain different things all over the country. So
Yep.
we can help out with different locations. All right, so move along here. So a lot of people think of our core services when they think of Cox Business, and we'll use that term core services again down the road here. But what do we offer, right? Internet, telephone, TV. These are our core. So people think of, I need a voice line, I need some internet, I might need a Wi-Fi or modem, television for the break room, or maybe a bar or restaurant that has a television out front for their patrons. Now the next slide here, these are also core services, but a little more advanced. So in the city of Pensacola, we've been working pretty hard on building out our fiber network. So, fiber optic internet is, I guess you'd say it's the future, but it's really here right now. And that offers a much more robust signal, offers symmetrical speeds, the same speed downstream as it is upstream, which can be very important, just depending on what your application is, what you're using it for. Gigabit speeds, so very fast. IP phone systems. So, we do enterprise grade phone systems. Matter of fact, a lot of the larger businesses and organizations in town are using our systems just for that. The handset you see on a desk, auto attendant, different things like that, different extensions, virtual seats where people are kind of bouncing a call to their cell phone off of that phone system in-house. We do all that. And then networking systems too for businesses that have multiple locations. they need a way to get their data, their information from one point to another, we help with that as well. All right, so managed cloud solutions. Beyond our core service offerings, Cox Business also provides these managed cloud solutions to keep your business connected, make sure you're remaining productive, and protected from internal and external threats. And we got a few things up on here. I mean, there's a lot of things that people probably recognize. Microsoft 365, we are a gold partner. Microsoft, we do a lot of business with them, and what's really cool, one of the things that Shiloh and I were talking about earlier is how, as a partner, we're able to kind of intercede on behalf of the customer. So if you came to us for Microsoft 365, we actually take on that customer service piece. So if you got an office where maybe somebody's using one of the Microsoft applications, there's an issue, instead of going to Microsoft, you can come to us and we'll take it from there. So we take that kind of burden off of our customers as far as support goes. Disaster recovery as a service. We get some storms around here, right? I think it's been raining for the past, 365 days or something.
Pretty much.
Lightning, wind, everything else. It's important to businesses to, if they have some sort of disaster, be it a lightning strike, a fire, or something else, to be able to get back up and running right away. A lot of times that's the difference between staying in business and not. SD-WAN is a service to connect multiple businesses together and share information safely. Desktop as a service is making sure that everybody has the same apps and applications, CRM tools all across the organization. And then cybersecurity, endpoint protection, protecting those laptops and devices and everything out in the field or in the office. And even backing up all these different things, right? All this production happens in the office. All these different things happen point of a day. They all need to be backed up and saved in files, right? So we help out with that as well.
So do small businesses tend to use the desktop as a service? And I'm assuming that actually, I guess, what does it actually mean, I guess?
I'll speak to that if you don't mind.
Yeah,
you probably recognize it more as Citrix or terminal services. That's what desktop as a service is. So what that is when you, instead of having a computer sitting at your desk here, you just go, you basically have a keyboard and a mouse and a monitor, and you might have a little box. So you're logging into a server that's in the cloud, and you log in, type your username and password, and it brings up a desktop. So it's basically all that stuff being taken care of on one server. So you control the profiles on a server, and that way you can add and delete and build the desktops in the cloud. So it's just an easier way to take care of profiles, add applications for multiple people without having to maintain the hard drives, the memory sticks, and the CPUs on sites. And this is great for offices that have multiple little kiosks or locations. And it's also good for people who had field users, where they can just give them a dummy laptop that doesn't cost a lot, and then give them a really great operating system that lives in the cloud. So it's basically just license based. You just pay the license per user, and they just build it on the server. So you don't have to run security updates and update hardware and worry about protecting a whole bunch of devices in the field, because all of that lives on one server. So some small businesses do this because they don't want to have to invest. It's a great time to do this is when your laptops are end of life, or your hardware is end of life, or you're opening up a new office, a new branch, and you're like, oh, I don't want to have to go buy 10 more computers. My other office has 10 computers that are about end of life. What do? Let's talk about desktop as a service. You could get 20 licenses, let them all live on that server. So that's what how desktop as a service would work. But let me say one thing about this before we move on, because startup businesses, one of the steps that you were talking about is the step where a lot of people have another job while they're building their startup. So those people who have another job right now could call Cox. This is where this stuff applies. If you're an office manager and you see any of these slides right now and you say, wow, I think our office could use voice over IP. That sounds like something that we could use because our phone service is terrible. Call Cox. If you say our internet is so slow, our office is crashing all the time, we can't even save files, we're not getting good business done, call Cox. This is while you're working on your startup, you're doing a job. And if you're not doing an effective job, then your business that you're doing now isn't doing well, so have pride in what you're doing now and make it a good work environment. And that you can call us now while you're working on your startup. So don't think this doesn't apply, because if you're working now, this applies because you want to be in a good work environment. Don't suffer. So talk to your boss if you aren't the boss, and see about calling us to get some of these problems fixed if you are having problems, because you don't have to suffer while you're building your business.
So Ed, are you going to go into any of these services in more detail in future slides? Because I was going to ask about the security as a service as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. We can definitely put that on the list for the end. I'll skip down. I've got a page that we can take a look at.
Okay.
There's a little bit more detail on that.
Okay, good.
Yeah, security as a service is my personal favorite. I think everybody should be doing security as a service. It's my personal favorite.
Agreed. All right. Any other questions on this slide before we move on?
I will say one last thing. Circle Microsoft as 365. If you're a business and have more than 5 or 6 users in there and you're doing email for your business, you should be looking at Microsoft 365. If you're trying to manage your own emails and paying off a la carte, after you get 5 or 6, you're spending too much if you're not using a partner, because you can get a lot of added benefits by having a partner. And you're just doing too much work. If you are the IT person in your company and you also got some other work you're supposed to be doing other than managing your email system, you may as well be a Microsoft 365 customer, because they do all that work for you. So you may as well have a gold partner do that work for you, because you deserve it. You deserve to take that off your plate. It's a lot of work to take care of an email client.
Well said. And, that brings up an interesting point, because, Microsoft 365, you can really, you can kind of get that anywhere, but really the benefit is coming to us is we facilitate it for it. We manage it. We do all your customer service. We're your partner with that. It doesn't cost anything extra, which is great.
You may as well hand it off.
So let's say if you're a business and you have an Office 365 license, you're saying that you all can take over that license and help out it. Yeah. So and do some customer service. So I'm curious about the endpoint services too, and how a business uses that.
Yep. Yeah, I can talk about that if you'd like, Ed.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, endpoint services is, you might recognize some of the names, like WebRoot, for example, is a real popular one. WebRoot or McAfee. Those are endpoint services. It's just basically but they do a little extra when you're in the business version of it. So you install a little monitoring on each device, and it talks back to your server. So you can monitor the usage, you can monitor the location of the device, depending on what you want to do with it. But you can also remotely wipe the device if it gets lost or stolen. You can push apps to the device. You can make sure that no viruses are coming in and out of the device. You can make sure you're not spreading viruses to other people, and you're not allowing viruses into it. So it's that kind of thing. But it's in the cloud, so you don't have to do all the back end work on it. It lives in the cloud. So Cox is taking care of all that work for you. So all these things live in the cloud, and Cox does all the work, basically. Or let me caveat that they don't have to do all the work. It's a joint relationship. If you are the IT director of your company, you can have full control of it because you know how to do it. But if you're not an expert, you just do IT plus 4 other jobs, you can hand over some of the labor and get some help, because you basically have to hire another person to do this work sometimes. If you're at that point, then it's time to move some of this into the cloud, because it's just a lot sometimes for one person to do everything. And that's when it's time to really start looking at going to the cloud. It's just too much work. It's just too much work.
Yeah, and so that infrastructure as a service is that more or just providing some servers,
Yeah, that's servers. Yep. If you have a server inside your building, you need to talk to us, because that's not something you do in Pensacola. It's too hot. It's too dangerous because of disaster recovery, and it's hard to just have one server anymore anyway. And a virtual server is the way to go, really. And most people, if your infrastructure as a service, it's going to be a virtual server. It's going to be VMware or something. And that's what infrastructure as a server is. It's going to give you a server in the cloud. You can update your memory. You can update your CPU as needed on the fly. You can get more hard drive space if you need it. And then you can fail it over to a secondary device in case of a failure or in case of an attack. But if you have a server sitting in your building still, you literally can't do any of those things. You have to shut it down, open up the box, put in a memory stick, maybe even take out your old memory sticks and put in a new memory stick. So you can't do anything on the fly, and it's not reliable anymore. There's just better ways of doing things, and that's what infrastructure as services.
Yeah, and I'll just say oh, sorry, I was just going to say a quick thing on that too. For new businesses starting up, the concept of operational expense versus capital expense. Servers are very expensive to set up, and even customers, I see customers all the time, like, where are you at in the cycle with your server? Oh, we got 2 years or 5 years. We're 10, probably not 10. I don't see them that long, but the point is they need to keep buying more of these servers. When you go to infrastructure as a service, you've just got like kind of a monthly fee. It's maintained, like Shyla said, you can scale it up. It's easy access for those people you want to have access, but it's secure. So it does everything it needs to do, but it's really much more efficient.
Okay. All righty. I'll let you. I'm asking too many questions.
No, it's great. I love these questions, because you're probably answering questions that other people have. Yeah. So that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So these are some of our strategic partners. As you can see, it's kind of a who's list of who's out there. And we spoke about a few of these already: Microsoft, Citrix, but also VMware, Enable, Fortinet, Mimecast, amazing email security, VM, Zerto. So really, Cox is really partnering with some of the best players out of the industry right now to bring these services to our customers. And again, kind of bringing that, that kind of one-stop shop and that ease and convenience and customer support along with it.
Mm-hmm. So the Fortinet, I just want to make sure I understand what that is. I know there's a certification for it.
Yeah, that's going to be your firewall. That's your security as a service that you're asking about.
Okay.
Yeah, Fortinet can do a lot of things. It's a great device. It's small, but it's very reliable, very great device, and it's available right now, which is one of the great things we love about it. It's not one of the ones that are affected by the chip shortage and can't get it because it's so far away. So it's something that's really worked out great for us.
So when would a small business, like, when do you? I guess so does every small business need that?
Yes. We put Fortinets out in lots of businesses. This is what we would call a firewall. So yeah, any small business should have one. That's why I said it's my favorite thing to talk about, because every business, small, medium, large, even homes have firewalls. Even one computer is going to have a firewall, because
Right.
if you don't have a firewall, anybody can get in your computer, period.
Yeah. But like most like Windows machine, they have the firewall thing in there. So is this adding some extra services?
Oh yeah. You can. This is going to allow you to open up ports, allow certain things in. It's going to add another level of security, because anybody who thinks that somebody hasn't figured out the Microsoft firewall on a computer hasn't. Should probably rethink that. So
Okay.
Microsoft firewall isn't going to do much. That's why we've got endpoint security. Yeah, you should definitely have a little more than the Microsoft firewall for your business.
Okay.
So yeah, the Fortinet firewall, or any firewall, is going to go right there at your internet connection. You're going to have your modem and your firewall holding hands, protecting your whole business, every single thing. So if you're doing anything with credit cards, if you're doing anything with phone numbers, with social security numbers, with any kind of personal information whatsoever, then you should have a firewall.
Yeah. So like even a router or something that you said that firewall is probably maybe not, that comes with that may not even be good enough.
Well, if you've got a router that has a firewall built into it, as long as you know how to set it up and you know how to maintain it. Here's the problem with doing your own firewall and not having a company like Cox take care of it for you.
Okay.
If you're not a security expert and you don't know if you're not keeping track, watching every day for the newest viruses, for the newest attacks, for the newest, everything that they're doing to try to hack into the firewall, and you're not 100% on top of your firmware updates, and you're not doing everything at all your sites if you have multiple locations, then your firewall's not doing its job. So that's the difference with having your own firewall there at your site and taking care of it, versus having a professional like Cox who has certified experts on staff, because nobody can afford a certified expert on staff. They're just, nobody can afford those except a huge corporation like Cox.
Yeah.
They are there to help you make sure your firewall is 100% working and protecting your business. So, yeah.
So is that like that Fortinet? Is that a really common certification that IT people get?
Yeah, definitely. I've got 3 Fortinet certifications.
Okay.
On the bottom of my email, I always put them on there so people know.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, it's a very popular brand, like I said, because they're easy to get right now. Easy to get, not the certifications, but the device themselves. They're much easier to get than some right now because of the circuit shortage.
Gotcha. Ready?
Okay, move forward here. Okay, so here's an eye chart. There's a lot of stuff going on. What you're starting a business or you have a business, what technology is my business need? So, local technology consultants, high-speed internet, data security, desktop computers, laptops, software and productivity tools, networking and computers, printers, telephones, voicemail systems, financial accounting system, inventory control system, customer relationship, CRM, data storage. There's a lot of things to think about with your business. But the good news is we can help.
Okay. And so I'm assuming that a lot of that software stuff, is that through your partnership with Microsoft or something, or is it other companies as well?
Yeah, the partnership with Microsoft is a great one. They offer multiple software add-ons for once you're on the Microsoft platform, everything's plug and play. So a lot of them will come with it, and then the rest you just can add on with your life.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And then for nonprofits, this is a perfect example. We do have nonprofit licensing. We have government affiliation licensing. There's all different kinds of licensing, school licensing. So yeah, all that is part of what we can offer also.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so why Cox Business? I think we've probably been saying that why here for the last 15, 20 minutes, but really we're flexible enough for small and medium-sized businesses and powerful enough for enterprise. We're helping the mom and pop shop all the way up to the largest enterprise companies in really the country, right? But we offer things that are important to everybody. It's proactive management of day-to-day IT needs. Shiloh was touching on that. We are IT, basically the IT department of a lot of businesses, and that's one of the areas we really shine. We do a consultative approach to strategy and implementation and support. It's all customized. That's where Shiloh and I come into play. We come out, we sit down with businesses, we talk through what sort of systems, what their needs are, and it's not cookie cutter. It's customized to their needs and what they're trying to do. Customer satisfaction score. When we're talking about some of these cloud services, some of the things we're doing in IT, it's pretty high, 4.8 out of 5. It's industry leading. Cloud services, and we didn't touch too much on this, but we offer services for that IT person that's a single pane of glass, so they can monitor multiple systems in their business. Very easy to read, very easy to monitor, to look at the different metrics, especially if they've got multiple users and applications in house that they're supporting. We support organizations with compliance needs. We help our customers do everything they can to be compliant. And there's different things out there, right? There's a lot of medical in the Pensacola area, HIPAA compliance, different compliance to be vendors to some of the military operations in the area. So we help our customers with that as well. And really, it's commitment to the people side of technology. Again, we come out, we build relationships with people in the area, and we help them.
So I got a question about the cloud services there.
Sure.
Like to have a Microsoft Azure account, AWS account, a Google Cloud account. So they all offer like a little control panel or whatever, a portal where you go in there. So do you all take a similar approach or with your all's cloud service, or is it totally different?
Want me to take that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we do have a portal, and it's beautiful. It's very user-friendly. You can open your tickets from there. You can monitor all of your circuits. You can monitor your users. You can monitor your usage. You can even fail over your circuits. If you know there's going to be a big storm coming in one of your sites and you even suspect your neighbors are going down, you can fail over on purpose. You can monitor firewall usage, see what kind of sites people are going to. You can block sites, whitelist, blacklist, do all of that just from one website portal. And yeah, it's the same. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess I was asking, can you configure a computing environment and host an application in the environment? That's kind of what I was asking.
Right. No, as far as the way AWS works and things like that, we don't duplicate that effort that AWS does.
Okay.
But what we do is we offer a cloud port connection to the services such as AWS. We do offer a very similar service to AWS, and it's called Edge, a Cox Edge. And it's a new product that we're just starting up. And we have multiple servers already in place throughout the country. And it's just edge computing. And what it is servers on site in the city so that you get immediate access, very, very low latency connections to those servers. And so that's a new product, just rolling out, and it's very similar to AWS, and that will give you that exact experience. And you could host applications there, you could run SQL databases there, you can host whole gaming systems there, because the latency is milliseconds. because the server will be in downtown Pensacola. So ours isn't installed yet in Pensacola, but we have at least 3 in Florida locations already. So yeah, that's definitely something on the roadmap.
Okay, so yeah, so so like with the Kukua Institute, and we're wanting to host a server with some AI stuff on it.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be an alternative to kind of use you all's edge services.
Yes, that is something you don't want to have to recreate yourself. That's for sure. That would be a huge expense for you to create that kind of environment yourself. Or to connect to AWS, I can send you a slide. I didn't bring it, but to show you just the cost difference and what Cox is offering compared to some of the other existing hosted servers, or hosted environments like AWS, for example. Just because the way they've got theirs built, they created them so long ago. They've got some old infrastructure that they're replacing with new infrastructure. Guess who's paying for that? End users. So now that Cox is just now building theirs, we don't have to pay for that new infrastructure that's being built. We're starting from the ground up right now. It's greenfield. So users like you getting in at the beginning could really benefit from that. We can definitely talk about that.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah, so typically I always thought of edge type stuff as like at your location, at the customer's location, and is at the edge. But then sound like you're saying there's this concept of the edge, which is not actually on-prem, but it's
right. It's in your city.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a novel concept, but it's just like AWS. But with AWS, it's not in your city. It's maybe fairly close to your city. For us, I don't know where the Microsoft server is, but it's probably in Tallahassee or maybe even Jacksonville. It's not going to be in Pensacola though, but maybe it's in New Orleans. You know what I mean? But so your milliseconds are going to be a little bit higher, but ours will be in Pensacola, which is so exciting for us.
Okay. So like, I'm just trying to think, so yeah, because I guess the dilemma is always the whatever, data pipe or internet speeds you have wherever. So you're saying if it's, your all's edge is going to be at a really high speed connection.
Right. It's the distance. Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So give me an example what the speed of your edge service might be like. It's like 200.
Yeah, I mean it could be less than 5 milliseconds. I mean, really, honestly, depending on where it is in the city.
Gotcha. So like, but like the pipe, how big is the pipe? Is it like a 1 gigabyte pipe, a 20 gigabyte pipe?
No, you wouldn't have to get anything nearly that big. I think we've just set you up with like a 300. Is that what we set up? Yeah. Even with that, you're going to get that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. It's not the size of the pipe that's going to matter. It's the distance with that product.
Okay.
Yeah. And the amount of data that you're pushing through. So if you're maxing out your pipe with the amount of data you're pushing through, your latency will go up. But then that's when you increase your pipe. So it just matters on the amount of data you're pushing through. You get more customers on there pushing more data, you're going to have to increase your pipe. But you don't have to start off with a gig pipe until you're pushing that data.
Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about this.
Okay.
You got me excited now.
Nice. All right, I'm going to move forward here. All right, so what comes next? Planning is key. I think Shiloh already said it. Definitely don't come to us after the problems happen. Let's talk before. And we're seeing build outs for some of the new services. I mean, new buildings. There's a lot of construction going on. It could be 30, 60, 90 days or more. And that's fine. Let's talk. If you're 6 months down the road, you're 12 months down the road, let's talk. Let's do some planning. We can talk about what you need and talk about some solutions, and to that also, we'll work with your existing IT team. So if you are a larger business that has an IT team in place, we're not there to replace them. We're there to help them. There's a lot of IT teams that use us as an extra player on their team to get things done. And again, there's some businesses out there that really just don't want to have IT in house, and they give it all over to us, and that's fine as well. Another thing that's important to talk about, account reviews. If you have an account already with Cox Business, let's review it. Help you save money and make sure you have the right services to drive your business forward. We're there to look for efficiencies in the services, and we're going to find a way to help you out. That one vendor concept, we talked about that a little bit for core and cloud services. We'd love to be your partner for everything. There's not a lot that we can't help you with, and we're going to give you the best experience on that too. Experts in the field of compliance and security. I would argue that any business's information should be secure, but some need to follow some different compliance guidelines. We're here to help with that. And again, we have experts to help you design your system, and we can show you a solution to implement it as well. But really, last but not least, as a business owner, you deserve to be able to hand off these tasks because they are very labor intensive, so you can focus on building and growing your business.
Yep.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
That's key.
Yeah.
Well, that was great. Talking about technology is my favorite.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of our map, kind of domestically and globally. We talk about cloud systems, fiber runs, things of that nature. And that's kind of bringing us towards the end there. Want to hear more? Please, by all means, call or email us. We'll set up a meeting. We can do an account review, or even build something from scratch for you. Virtual meetings, phone or in person, we do them all. Definitely here to help.
Yes, and I did post your contact information in the chat so that the folks can actually copy it from there as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, awesome. I appreciate you all being patient with me asking the questions.
That was great.
But I think so. Like, I guess some people might be like me. I don't have the Fortinet services, so I'm wondering, am I crazy for not having something like that, and just relying on the basic firewall stuff that's out there? Yeah. So.
Well, I think you had a question about security as a service. Did you delve into that a little bit more? I can. I believe I've got a slide on that. I can.
Yeah, that's right.
But we are running out of time here. I think it's pushing 8 o'clock. I don't know if that's better.
Yeah, it's not like so, but just in general. So, like, is there how does the pricing start on security as a service? Just in case some people are.
Yeah, I can talk on that. It's different for every customer, but generally speaking, it's an add-on to some other services. But the way it works is it's for our cloud server. The main server is hosted in our RapidScale. RapidScale is the company that does all of our cloud services. Cox bought RapidScale a few years ago. They're very well established cloud. It's basically a giant operation center, and they've got multiple locations throughout the country. So that's the background on RapidScale. Their huge gateway is located, and then from there, all your internet traffic would go out. So the way the pricing model is, you get one gateway, and then you get that is just one price, and it's about $200. So that is your gateway, and then as many instances of that you need are no extra charge. So for you with 3 offices, $200. For somebody with 5 offices, $200. Somebody with 1 office, $200. So it's just, that's the way the pricing model is. You're just paying for the gateway.
Gotcha. So I understand that for sure. Now, did you want to share that, Ed?
Yes, please. I think it's up there. There we go.
Yeah.
This dives down a little bit more into the different services that come. When we're talking about security, we're talking about endpoint. And we're talking about Mimecast. Mimecast is going to be your email security. We usually tack that on with Microsoft. Mimecast lives on top of Microsoft because when you send emails, you can send viruses to your friends and coworkers. When you receive email, you can receive email viruses from your friends and coworkers if you click on a link. So all that stuff Mimecast prevents. So that's where we usually marry those two together. And then all these other things, Zerto, Veeam you probably recognize as a backup software. All these things are all good for security. So these are all products that we use for what your needs are. We talk to you and we say, do you need this? Do you need this? Do you need this? And then we'll figure out which package you need.
Yeah.
And then you can see our certifications up here. We have SOC 2 certification, PCI DSS certified, different levels of certification that we have in our network operations centers. So when we say we can do HIPAA compliance and we can do DSS and SOC 2 certifications, that those are important to people who run finance companies and who run medical facilities and things like that. So if you're running a government facility who does contracts with the Navy base, we might not be able to help you in the same way because they have a level of compliance that we might not have access to because only certain people have those kind of certifications, and we don't have all of those certifications. So some people we do have to turn away. We just have to go have a meeting, figure out what we can do for them. There are certain things we can't do because if there's some kind of black ops data going on a server, we might not be able to put it in our data center.
Gotcha.
There are certain certifications we can't comply with.
So and I think that if you don't mind it, if you send me a copy of the slides, I'll share them on the next email with that I have with the video link and everything. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Fantastic. So last chance out there, last call for questions out there. If you got any questions, this is the last opportunity to get them in. But we thank you all for being here, Shyla and Ed. I definitely learned a lot.
Hey, if we can teach you something, that's impressive. You teach us something every time we visit with you. So But yeah, so we'll I think I think it's a good service to make more people aware of that you all offer more stuff than just internet services. So I think it's definitely good to have some awareness, from that perspective. So we definitely appreciate you all taking the time to come on. And
thank you for hosting us.
Yes.
Appreciate it. All righty, So you all got any parting thoughts before we close out here?
I will just say that I think you and your group and your organizations are doing a wonderful thing for Pensacola and the communities, and I support you 100%. You just call me if you need anything. I'll talk to you all day long, obviously. So.
Okay, great.
Yeah, well said. I couldn't say any better myself. I think it's awesome what you're doing, and it's just great to see.
Yeah, I think Cox is always a good community partner, and so I'll do a plug in. We have a event tomorrow, the Pensacola Network, and Cox has been a sponsor of that since day one, and I picked up some door prizes from Kristen yesterday, so that's pretty
oh, great. That's
good. Yeah. But so we thank you all very much and look forward to chatting with you all soon. And folks out there, join us next week. Miss Janae, she's a SaaS expert, and so she's consults on that, and she has a nonprofit as well. So all the founders out there doing the software as a service, she should be a pretty good help for next week. All right. thanks, and we're gonna sign off. We'll see you all next week.